statement from Coach, and then we'll take questions from the assembled media.
And well, obviously, I mean, I hope that was an exciting game for people to watch. Well, you would think when people score that many points, when teams score that many points, it's exciting to watch at least. It was not that exciting to play against because we've got to get stops. We've got to get stops. OU is a really good offensive team. We knew that going in. Kudos to them for shooting the lights out and continuing to just, play their style of game. I thought that we battled. I thought that there was moments that we could have given up, and I would be really disappointed if our team did that, and they certainly didn't. I thought they battled hard, but we just had too many dry spells and too many spurts of when we couldn't get stops. I mean, at the end of the day, we've got to come up with some defensive possessions that we can control to just stay in the ball game, to be able to compete late. But I'm proud of these two for their resiliency and how hard they fought. I thought they stepped up on a big stage and played really, really hard. But we're going to have to just continue to battle and find ways to get these wins.
Any questions? Just a reminder, please wait for Tristan to hand you the mic. Mason.
Coach, you kind of just mentioned it, the whole momentum going back and forth. Yeah. Is that something that you can coach or something that you can adjust to mid-game like that and turn on and off?
Well, I mean, I think it's really hard to control momentum. I think you've got to make a big stop. You've got to make a big play. You've got to, silence the crowd by getting a big bucket. I mean, when you're on the road, of course. But I just think it's one of those things where you got to keep fighting, and you can't keep getting beat the same way. If it's defensively, if they're scoring it the same way, we've got to make an adjustment on the court where we get a stop. Offensively, I think we've got to execute better and really make sure we take care of the basketball and understand what our scout is and be determined to get buckets so that you can either stop that momentum or build the momentum.
Coach, obviously a different starting lineup for y'all, with the return of Breamber a couple weeks ago. Just what went into your decisions for the starting five y'all went with?
A lot of it had to be with kids returning from COVID protocol. We had a lot of kids out and just trying to get a good group on the floor that that maybe could have some energy and just have some stamina as well. But I also thought that we could match up with them a little bit better with their guards because they are and their post players are very guard oriented.
Coach, how big are free throws in games like this?
Yeah, well, obviously huge, right? I mean, we lose by 8 or we lose by 6 and miss 8. But yeah, we got to have a focus at the free throw line when we can get there. I mean, if you can get there 22 times, that's a pretty good night at the line. We definitely have to take advantage of that.
And then just the performance of Taylor today. Obviously a career day for her. I just want to get your thoughts on her effort overall.
I thought Taylor played really well. I thought that she kept attacking the basket and understood, what the game plan was. I thought that she was determined and played like a fifth-year senior would play, who's really trying to win a conference championship in her last year. And I thought that she played with a lot of determination today.
Taylor, I know it was a big day for you, obviously. Is it just bittersweet with the result at the end of the day?
Yeah, I care about the loss more than how I played, so yeah.
Vivian, for you, what would you say you guys, obviously your first Big 12 game of the season, what would you say you learned about your team today and what you want to, work on with them this next week moving forward?
I think that I learned that we can fight. We were down by over 20 and we came back, within range. So I think that's one positive to take out of it. I think what we really learned is that we have to play defense. Yeah, them scoring 97 on our home court that's unacceptable.
Coach, what would you say I know you talked about free throws, talked about getting stops. What would you say your biggest takeaway from this performance was?
Well, I think that our kids need to understand how tough Big 12 play is and that it is a game of runs. But at the end of the day, you've got to be able to believe in one another and get stops when you've got to get stops. We have to get some defensive stops in order to continue to execute on the offensive end.
Vivian, I believe your fourth game of the season today. Just how comfortable are you feeling, coming back from the injury and just, with all the new pieces, how comfortable do you feel out there?
I feel comfortable. I got the shots that I wanted today. I just didn't really make them. So, I think that we're gelling well as a team. We almost have our full team back, so that's exciting. And I feel comfortable. I feel great with the team. It's just I got to hit shots.
Okay, time for one or two more.
Taylor, I know you care more about the outcome, but the performance that you did have today was obviously really promising going up against a tough team like Oklahoma. What was working for you out there?
Pretty much taking shots that I shoot every day. Just one thing I did better was catching and shoot, which is something I haven't been doing. So just trusting that I can knock down the shot and be aggressive and get to the free throw line.
And then, Coach, just kind of looking ahead now to Texas, and I guess kind of the rest of the Big 12 slate that you guys have, what stands out to you about maybe them going forward and what you guys can do to regroup after a loss like this?
Yeah. Texas is obviously going to be a tough team to play against and on their home court. They really press you hard and try to turn you over a lot, so we'll have to have a lot of poise about us and ball control. But I do think that we can compete against them and compete at a high level and figure out how to steal some wins on the road, because that's what it comes down to. We really need to protect home court and get a couple of steals on the road.